think it's time to get to it. What do you guys think? You guys ready to go?
Okay, you ready? All right.
Okay.
It is Brosh 14. I'm going.
Hit us with the recap.
It is Brosh 14. Setting, airship, mid-afternoon. We need to get permits and permission to be in Attrack. We get into the city after a little bit of walking. It's about a mile. It's kind of like Orlestrin with the busyness, but it's a kaleidoscope of color and magic. There's a heavy guard presence, which is different. There's a nervous excitement in the group. Bren gets directions to the Quirking Curio. The people are polite and interested. They are also hiding things that have been damaged, presumably in the recent Civil War. It's really only 80 who notices that with her big smart brain and good with the feelings and stuff. But a very useful ability to have. Then I have Bren contemplates opening a bakery. Then I have Bren wants to send the inside of the Quirking Curio to Tambra. Then I have we meet Danthel Rourke at the Quirking Curio, who is an elderly, kind gentleman. He's very open and intrigued. He's looking to help us in every way, and is unfortunately horrified that we got ahead of ourselves in the bureaucracy. So we have to go do that before we can buy anything or really talk to him further. So we start heading to like the main office building before it closes, because like Ottawa probably closes at 5. We head past a big, huge temple to a I'm bad with the Vytharion. Close enough. And we are noticed by one of the Dragonborn, a holy warrior of the Forge. But now we get to go stand in a queue and hopefully get through this without hopefully implicating ourselves and the guy at the Quirking Curio. The end. Thank you.
Thank you for that amazing recap. You're awesome, as always. Yes, Theater Kid energy is best energy. 11 out of 10. Oh God!
Oh no!
We drove them away.
Perceived.
They're gone. Yes, we perceive you, Kay. We will always perceive you. All right, Deb, you're on the hot seat. You got to figure out how you're going to present next time.
Oh boy!
I feel like Deb's going to have graphs. I just feel like graph energy happening.
Okay, I feel attacked. We haven't even started yet.
Oh no!
You know, but the irony is, I've never seen graphs from Deb. I've seen graphs from and PowerPoint presentations from Cato.
You weren't there for my 10 Candles session 0 because there were.
That's fair.
There it is.
There was a PowerPoint.
Yep. That's fair. But I've seen
two
separate PowerPoint presentations from Cato. So
if you're running a session 0, it is, and you haven't done a PowerPoint for it, I cannot recommend it enough. It is brilliant. Ooh, I would enjoy a laser pointer. Yes, definitely. I will make sure to get one. And then I'll flash around for the cat so he can, go nuts.
Yeah, we have to be careful.
These are the things. Lines and veils. It's just really hard.
We have to be careful about laser pointers in this community. There's a lot of cats in our community. So. What is going on with my chair? Anyway, thank you so much for that, Kay. As always, awesomeness from you. Much to be expected, of course. So, my friends, are you continuing your journey on to the Office of Foreign Affairs, as Kay had said in the recap? Or has your little experience at the Temple of Itharion changed anything for you?
Can't do anything otherwise, apparently, so we kind of have to get this done now. It's been like 4 weeks.
Something like that. All right, kitty cat. Bye-bye. I think he heard a can of food opening. So, You continue your journey past the temple, past the individuals that were seemingly protesting outside of the temple, the handful of Itharian guard, including a couple of Dragonborn amongst their number, standing vigilant, perhaps questioning yourselves, questioning what's going on here in Kuvalia, or at the very least in Atrak, and wondering what to do next. You continue forward to the Office of Foreign Affairs. As you approach the Office of Foreign Affairs, its imposing presence dominates the street. A massive structure of black volcanic stone. Its surface, you can see, is etched with script in various places along the foundation of it. Those of you with an arcane leaning can tell pretty clearly that there is magic that glows amongst it, almost like the glow of faintly burning embers at the bottom of a fire pit. The architecture of this building is severe and symmetrical. It is designed not for beauty, and you have this overwhelming sense that it is more about control and authority than anything. The archways that you can see on the outside with the meticulously crafted pillars are all aligned with exactness, with precision and order. You can see two massive black bronze doors at the entrance, embossed in various places with Kuvalian sigils of law and governance. The scale of them is enormous, easily 4 times your height. Above these doors, an ornate clockwork-like mechanism, almost shaped like a 2-dimensional astrolabe, ticking, shifting in multiple facets above the doors, methodically. Flanking the entrance, you see twin braziers burning with a smokeless blue flame. And there's something about that blue flame that implies to you an ever-burning vigilance. As you approach, you see people gathered. You do see Skyguard sentries standing at various spots on the grounds and not far from the door and the stairs that lead towards the entrance. Skyguard, who, with their gazes sharp, sweep across the square. Although their expressions are certainly friendly, and they're not the prototypical guardians that you might think trying to dissuade people from being here. It's more a situation of wanting to be ever vigilant to any dangers that might be present. And the crowd of Kuvalians that is gathered, they're not unruly, they're not protesting like what you had seen at the temple itself. And although you can tell very little about what their business might be here at this building of governance, as soon as you start to approach, a hushed whisper begins to wash over the crowd as they watch you closely. I would like for probably 80 most to do an insight check for me, please. Thank you for the advantage count, by the way, Varl. As it stands currently, Brent
Thank
has 4,
you.
Mira has 3, 80 has 2, and Sisk has 1.
Jesus. Speaking of advantages,
I
I'm
mean,
gonna go
7
ahead
for
and-
you is still good, right? Isn't that still like 15
it's
or something?
13.
Oh no.
Okay, 13's fine. I'll just keep it.
You can roll with advantage. I'm not stopping you.
No, that's fine.
Oh, and Jeremy with the extra advantage for you, Sisk.
Nice.
13. You
My
can't
thanks.
tell definitively. None of you are very certain as to what the people's purpose is here, but it's fairly safe to say that you all notice decently well that a not insignificant number of them are here waiting for you to catch a glimpse of whoever it was that piloted the airship that now floats on the bluff just a mile outside of the city. You are most certainly a point of interest for quite a number of people here in the community of Atarak. And 80, I think you can pick up on not just from the furtive glances that come your way, but also a fair bit of concern from some folk. They're not afraid of you per se, but you are most certainly an unknown quantity, at the very least. Yes, Kay.
Can I make myself a little bit buffer and a little bit hotter as we start walking up? Just a little bit more.
Subtly,
get the tail
as
started.
you take a few steps, you start to enhance your physique a little bit. Sure, you can do that. As you all approach the towering doors, you feel almost swallowed by the weight of the bureaucracy that you're about to endeavor upon. You step through, and the first thing that you notice is that the air is warm. Not necessarily overly uncomfortably so, but there is a deliberate pressing heat. Stepping through the doors entirely and into this massive building, you can tell that on the inside, the walls of volcanic stone rise very high. Their surfaces are lined in all directions with glowing ember red runes that pulse at a steady rhythm. If you're aware enough, you might notice that it pulses similarly to the ticking of that astrolabe at the top of the doors, as if the building itself is keeping a count on the passage of time. The arched ceiling of this main chamber is adorned with intricate filigree of interwoven elemental sigils. Fire, earth, air, and water, all locked in a perfect balance with one another. At various points, you can see between some of the pillars that hold up that massive ceiling, delicate clockwork mechanisms that spin in slow, precise movements, measuring not time necessarily, something unseen. It could be time, but it might also be some kind of a record. You aren't certain entirely. Beyond that detail, you can see rows of stone desks that sit neatly arranged, each occupied with scribes and clerks, their hands gliding over parchment as quills, scribbling notes without pause, scratching of ink, the occasional thump of a wax seal on some document or another, a distant murmur of formal proceedings taking place in some of the rooms down halls. all creates a kind of dull, rhythmic heartbeat of paperwork in motion, as it were. From desk to desk, collecting and delivering documents, you see people moving precisely, efficient, like a well-oiled machine, in fact. And just beyond the central floor, just past the doors, you see an elevated dais where a figure stands, radiating authority behind the fire-lit braziers with his own desk, with his own papers, constantly handing out. Occasionally that person steps down and another person steps up to take his place. There's a notion, well, Sisk being able to speak and read the language well enough would understand that this is the adjudicator's desk, standing behind a looming sigil of the Kuvalian government. Set of shifting elemental runes, with a number of other runes at the corners, symbolizing law, order. Sisk, I think, would notice very clearly that this new version of the Kuvalian symbol now also has faith added to it. You're not entirely sure what that means, but it's definitely something that you note. As you all make your way in, you of course catch more than a few glances in your direction, but the people are unable to really gaze upon you too long, as it would disrupt the flow of everything taking place. One figure, however, a clerk behind a desk just to the right of the massive doors, motions you forward, their eyes briefly scanning over each of you as they gesture for you to approach. I'm assuming Kay, since you are the most fluent in the language, you step forward ahead of the others, but I'm just curious if you guys could tell me what you're doing and or experiencing, your characters are doing and or experiencing at this moment with all of this. We'll start with you, Kay.
Oh, I'm ready to play translator. I have an idea of how I'm going to play it. I did have a question on if I know from Kuvalia at least before, is it like they'll talk, is it like talk when spoken to sort of thing, or they'll initiate, or do I initiate? Because that will also depend on how much like how much apologizing or whatever I'm gonna do.
Yeah, so I feel like Sisk would understand that people of Kuvalia are very into aspects of propriety, and that probably facilitates through the government as well, maybe even more so. I don't know how much interaction Sisk had with government officials before, because I believe, as we recall before, Sisk had kind of snuck into Kuvalia, and, you know, had traveled quite a lot, didn't necessarily have papers because, you know, back then you didn't need them. Like this is bureaucracy at a whole new level for Sisk.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not keen on the extra time this is gonna take, but I'm ready for it. I'm hoping that everyone's on their best behavior.
What about Bren, Ian?
So there I am, swinging from a chandelier in the middle of the...
As a monkey does.
As a monkey does.
Did you shapeshift into the orangutan yet?
The gorilla?
Yeah, the gorilla.
I think
I guess you could be a bear swinging from a chandelier. That would be even better, right?
I could. I can also turn into a gorilla. Like that's a thing I can do. No, in this moment, I think Brendan's just very like he's quiet. He's not saying anything. He's kind of like following closely behind Sisk, like in this moment, because they obviously know what they're doing. And he would like to leave here as soon as possible too. Kind of like get this done so we can go. Yeah. Yeah.
What about Mira? You are muted. Uh-oh. Try refreshing. We'll go to 80 for now.
Hey, 80 is doing a lot of observing of both the building itself and the people around. Definitely trying to connect with Sisk in terms of what vibe they're giving off, so that she can sort of meet that and stay in line, especially given that they might be getting a new friend in trouble by, being around. So I think she's got a friendly face on, but is just kind of, going along with everything.
You still muted, Deb?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, great. Mira is looking around at things, like not really in a covert way, but not in a like mouth agape way either. I think she is just like interested in any magic stuff happening, in any like unusual things that she notices, or like people. Not in a slackjawed tourist way, exactly. Just looking at the people and the way that they comport themselves and the different like mannerisms, and just trying to take in as much as possible.
As you all approach the clerk, there's a fairly quick, and the rest of you, I mean, certainly Mira can understand a bit of this. I think that Bren and 80 might be a little bit hard to understand some of it because the person is going to be speaking very quickly. But Sisk, of course, is easily able to understand the welcome to the Foreign Affairs Office. You're with the airship. Right. We've been expecting you. We have procedures for this. Just I'll get you the forms, and they start like trying to go about getting some forms and such together. You say anything in response to
I say, thank you very much. Apologize if there's a delay. We were a little eager to explore, so I apologize for coming so late.
Of course, it's fine. It's a wonderful city, and they're like thumbing through papers and such. You should have a document from the Sky God, yes?
Yes, I think I have it. I will produce it.
What are they saying?
I realize I haven't. My friends don't understand the Kuvalian or Intreskin. So could you provide? Are there any translators still around? Are there?
Yes, but you understand the language. You can translate it at this juncture, yes?
Yes. I suppose I could do that.
Wonderful. If any of your companions have any questions, of course, they're more than welcome to ask.
Are we in trouble? What are they saying?
No, we're good so far. We're just going to be doing paperwork. Mira, can you help me?
Yeah.
A little bit of translation and stuff.
I like elbow Bren in the ribs and like, keep your voice down. Hold on. It's fine.
Is everything all right? Your friend seems very agitated.
Yeah, we came on the airship. We weren't quite used to it. He got pretty ill on the ship and agitated, so he's not quite used to being back on land yet. We've only been here half the day.
I see. All right then. Well, I'll try to make this as quick and painless as possible. The original adjudicator that you were going to be seeing has already left for the day, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to try and track someone else down. If you could please, and I'm assuming you're holding out the letter that you got from the Sky Guard, and he takes it from you and he is reading through it, and he starts handing over 4 copies of some paperwork. Actually, no, 6, in fact, because you also have Phelan and Oriana with you.
And did I decide to bring? I didn't put it in my notes. Did I bring Tig?
No, you had left Tig on board the ship. Yes. So, hands, shoves 6 pieces of paper out across the table. I'm sure that you can translate for your friends what is written here. It's fairly simple and straightforward, and there's a few spots where signatures are going to have to be done, and you'll notice that there is a wax seal in the bottom corner of each. If you could just please press your thumb into that wax seal, that would be most appreciated. I'll be right back. And gets up and starts heading over to another desk.
I think I just realized that Sisk on a regular basis, I don't think makes fingerprints. So they have to genuinely think about it to form one for this. They were like, oh, fuck, that's a thing. So that's just something fun.
So the document itself is pretty straightforward. It's a single page. It's just a written statement that you will not bring harm to Kuvalia or any of Kuvalian citizens. You will abide by the laws of Kuvalia, that sort of thing. There isn't anything overt in it that it would be that any of you would outwardly considered to be trying to catch you in a gotcha moment or anything like that. There is no fine print, Jeremy. It's very simple, basic language. And it's very much like the kind of thing that one does in an honor system. Hey, I'm telling you not to be a dick. Write your name that you're not going to be a dick. Sort of processing. Yes, very boilerplate.
This question wants to know if I'm sexually active. Is this really important?
Yes. How many partners in the last 6 months?
Bren, when was the first day of your last period?
I think it's today, actually.
Those questions are not in this document.
Hey, I'm still asking them. But only for Bren in that instance.
Right, I can see it's just Sisk like translating each line, and then Sisk is like, "This one wants to know when was the last time that you were sexually active." He's like, "Do they really? Is that important?" Like,
I guess so. It's here.
Meanwhile, Mira can read the document, so Mira knows that question is not there.
I think they just want to know that if you're gonna meet someone here, you're not bringing any extra, things in, or
like what? Like produce? Like what? I don't understand.
Like diseases.
I'm not diseased, and he's just. Excuse me.
No, we'll take care of it. Just say no. Sisk, do you think it would be worthwhile asking after Gantharuk's nephew? Because he said that his nephew works here, and I don't. Maybe it's not.
Remember his name?
Narek.
Okay.
Does that put Gantharuk on the line? I'm kind of freaked out about it.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, people saw us and know that we, went somewhere. So I think, I don't know.
Should we ask for help preemptively?
He said that the adjudicator that we were supposed to meet with is gone already. So maybe we can just say we heard that someone named Narek works here and might be willing to help us. And so if that makes things easier, we'd love to speak with him and meet him. But if not, that is fine too.
That's a great idea. Okay.
I mean, I don't have a problem with answering the question. It just feels a little intrusive is all I'm saying. Like, is this what this place is about? Like, they have like a lot of, is that the type of business?
I don't know. I think they think we're children, and so it's just on yours.
Okay, well, answer yes and recently.
Okay.
Okay.
Down for later.
Meanwhile, Oriana is just watching you, Sisk, standing in the background behind Bren, just covering her mouth, trying to stifle a laugh.
Hey, that's what I do it for. The blue babes. Let's go.
So after a couple of minutes, this clerk, this random clerk person that you just happen to meet, comes back over and says, all right, so someone is seeing about trying to find an adjudicator that can handle this for you. If you could please just give us a few more minutes, my deepest apologies. Is there anything that I can do for you at this point? Is everyone good on the papers? And you see that he's like looking around to all of you.
Well, I think we've finished the paper, so we have finished them all. Thank you very much. We had heard of, I'm not sure if he was an adjudicator named Narek. We had heard good things about. I don't know if he would also still be here.
I mean, Narek is one of the clerks here. I can go and fetch him if you would like to be working with Narek. That's perfectly fine.
Oh, would that be kind of replacing you? Would you like to go home?
Honestly, yes. That would be
okay. Absolutely. Please, can you do you mind grabbing Narek and hopefully he can help us out?
That's completely fine. And he like grabs all of the papers and he starts reading them through and gets to the one that Bren, you know that he gets to the paper that you would press your thumb to, and he just kind of lingers on it for a moment. Great. And just walks
I really
away.
think that maybe like switching some of the questions would be more comfortable for guests because it's a little personal. But if those are the rules, that's fine. You guys is that a thing here? Are there businesses like that's fine if Sisk, help me.
and the clerk looks at Sisk. What did he say?
Oh no, tearing up. I'm having a hard time thinking now. I'm laughing too hard.
Mira breaks in and she's just like, as best as she can. He's just very excited to be here and loves the questions and is grateful for your assistance and wants to make sure that you
give me a persuasion check using intelligence.
It just kind of feels like it's like a medical question. There should be rules.
Sisk, you need to do a deception check to see how well you're stifling this inherent laughter of yours.
I got a 17.
I mean, I'm up in age, but I can still kind of. I mean,
I'm gonna use it my my advantage. Jeez. Oh yeah, I wanted that. 27.
Okay.
I'd like to consider myself taken, but they won't. We haven't really agreed upon anything yet. But I'm clean.
And the clerk looks back at Mira and Deb, you did get the point across. There was a little bit of like fumbling over the words a little bit, but you did you did get the point across. And the clerk just kind of looks at you and says, he just seems very upset. That's all. That's
his normal way. Once you get used to it, it sort of fades into the background. But he has
and I really don't think that's a question you should ask young women like out front without maybe like a professional. Because if it's on mine, it has to be on theirs, and I don't like.
My grandfather is the exact same way. I get it. I understand. I'm gonna go and fetch Narek for you. By the way, you're doing well with the language. Congratulations. I hope you continue at it.
Thank you.
And he like just looks at Brandon, smiles, and like does a thumbs up and nods, and starts walking away.
No, like you're nice and everything, but I don't think. Bye. Why? It's just really weird to ask that question of guests, like just to be able to talk to. I'm actually
Meanwhile,
surprised that
Oriana
you
is
all are
standing
comfortable.
behind Bren, just very much
intrusive
not able
question.
to keep her laughter to herself.
Anyway, are we good?
After a few minutes of this awkwardness, emerging from kind of towards the back of this very large main room, you see a very, very massive Earth Genasi figure. You spot the clerk kind of standing next to him, and he points in your general direction. And you assume this to be Narek. And when I say massive, I mean he's like 6.5 feet tall, 5.5 feet wide, just like this massive figure.
Are we, Sisk? Are we in trouble? Did we answer incorrectly?
No, I
Are
think
we not supposed to be sexually active?
not that I know of. Although it does say faith now. I'll mention the thing now. It says faith, which I think is weird. It has like the values of Kuvalian society. That's weird. But as far as I know, they're fine with your sexual partners. That I think that's just Narek. Large.
Okay.
And in charge, I guess.
Terry Crews working at a T-Mobile.
For what it's worth, everyone here is a Genasi. Working, I should say, is a Genasi. Deb, you gotta reset your camera. Anyone that is not a Genasi is obviously a person that is here doing business or some other aspect of like needing something from the bureaucracy, so to speak. None of the people that are actually working as a government person, official in any capacity, are anything other than Genasi. And so as this figure, this hulking figure, who is by far the largest of anyone in this room, starts making his way over, 80 has a really good passive insight, right? It's like it's like 16 or something.
Yeah.
As this figure is approaching, 80 can tell very clearly that he is not angry, like no emotions of hostility or anything like that. If anything, the emotions that she's reading off of Narek, it's kind of intrigue, interest, curiosity sort of expression. Despite the fact that the man looks like, perfectly stone-faced and could crush you like with his palm. And he approaches you. As he gets, pretty close to the table, he just kind of does a hand wave in front of him as a greeting and says, "Hello, I'm Narek. You had requested to speak with me, it seems, yes?" And another thing that you all notice is that in his left ear, you actually see very, very tiny on his ear. It's not large. It's like his ear is massive, and so the jewel hanging off of his ear is tiny by comparison to just the size of his ear. You see something that looks very much like the kind of jewels that Ganthel Rook has waiting for you in his shop. How can I help you today?
Oh, we can understand him. Thank you. Hello.
Where it goes one way. He can understand.
No. It goes
you.
2 ways. Remember, it has
Oh, 2 ways.
it creates
Yeah.
that scenario where it's like a half-second dub.
Oh yes.
You know, like a bad movie dubbing sort of deal.
I just wanted to introduce myself. That's it. Y'all go ahead.
Yes, please. Introductions. Actually, why don't we step over here? And he gestures over to an area where there's like it's kind of there's a small gate. It's not a private space per se. It's only a half height size gate, but it's like a separate area where there's some chairs and small tables set up, kind of a sitting area sort of deal. And he gestures over there and let's have a seat and discuss while your paperwork is being processed. I think that would be all right. And he just kind of glances behind him and yeah, it'll be fine. And he starts heading over in that direction.
Oh, jeez. Well, thank you, Narek. We got your name and we asked for you. We met, I believe, your Uncle Ganthelrook?
Oh, you've spoken to Uncle Gan already.
Mm-hmm. He sent us this way. We had gotten a little too eager and went there before coming here. So,
Oh, well,
Yeah, that was our bad.
I'm just glad that Gan even decided to follow the rules for once. That old man,
he was
He has a
probably
tendency-
thinking about you.
he has a tendency to do things his own way, so to speak. But please sit. And he like uses his very massive hand and gently opens the gate. You can tell that he is a figure that is like used to inadvertently breaking things. Yeah, he gently slides the gate open and gestures for you all to head inside. As you
Your
all move.
uncle won't get into any trouble because of us, will he?
Why would he? What? He kind of looks around. As he moves in, you can see he sits down on like one of the couches and takes up the entirety of the couch. And he sits down and he kind of eyes you a little bit. What did Uncle Gan do this time?
Oh, nothing. He just made it very clear that he was not to sell us anything before we came here and had
Yep.
the proper paperwork.
Very kind.
Did he now?
Oh. Yes.
Yes.
Interesting. I would have
We-
expected Uncle Gan to not even bother.
He was very insistent. We were looking for translation devices like yours.
Oh yes, it's
and
marvelous piece of magic. If you know, I would dare say that that's the only reason that he's still in business these days. People tend to look the other way when you provide the government with a essential function to do their work. But Uncle Gan, I'll be very interested the next time we talk. He's actually turning over a new leaf and enjoying for once the notion that laws are important.
He's been a bit rebellious in the past.
When he was my age, he would very much have been on the other side of an adjudication table, if you know what I mean. He was a bit of a rabble-rouser, so to speak. But I'm glad to hear that he's, finally accepting that the laws of the land are meant to be followed.
What do you think changed his mind?
I have genuinely no idea.
Do you have an estimate of how long this will take?
Oh, well, you unfortunately caught us at a bit of an awkward time, as the Office of Foreign Affairs is going to be closing soon. I do believe, though, that given the notoriety of who you are, there's going to be an effort made to fetch an adjudicator to deal with the situation very quickly. So,
And who are we?
well, you're the foreigners from the airship, are you not?
Oh, yeah, I just didn't know if it was different than just that. That's why I asked.
Oh no, I mean, I think it's fair to say that every person in the city at this point knows you're here and is quite interested in at least seeing you, if not meeting you, in fact. The fact that I'm getting to sit down here with you is going to provide me with a endless amount of discussion topics at the tavern tonight.
Well, you're good. Good.
Is there a big drinking culture in Kuvalia?
Oh, we, some of us tend to enjoy our drink. I myself don't partake too heavily in it, but I'll be more than happy to throw back a double pint or two.
Is that connected to any way to the other subculture here?
What other subculture?
Well, in the paperwork, you guys are very interesting.
Oh no! Okay. I'm sorry, Bren. I gotta break it to you. I was interested in your sexual history. I've been trying to get to the bottom of you and Tamra. That was
Why?
me.
That's very. That's come on. Why would you? That's private.
Yeah, why are you being so private? Why don't you just share with us? Mostly, it was also just funny for a bit.
Everything is not meant for a truth or dare game. Some things I'd like to keep to myself.
Narek is very obviously squirming in his seat and like looking away. 80 can feel just massive amounts of embarrassment rolling off of him.
Why should he be embarrassed? That's no fun. It seems like we're probably going to be here for a moment. It's not going to be anything that's quick. I do have a question, and this is just more so.
Yes, please. Ask away. Anything I can tell you about our amazing civilization, I'm happy to discuss. We at the Office of Foreign Affairs are meant to be as welcoming as possible while maintaining the necessary social order of Kuvalia. So please, ask away.
Yeah, and this is just more so of an out of towners curious. That large group of people protesting out there. What's that about?
Protest? What protest?
Yeah.
There seemed to be a protest outside the Temple of Vitharion. A lot of people were quite upset.
Yes. Well, there are some circumstances of late and recent times here in Kuvalia that have drawn into question some of our people's faith in Kuvalia itself, and just how much of a influence dragons might have on a person, and whether or not you are true Kuvalian if you carry draconic bloodline. It's a point of contention amongst some of our peoples, and some folks, they take it in a very serious manner.
What type of influence are they protecting themselves from when it comes to dragons?
Well, I mean, kind of glances around, seeming a little uncomfortable at the conversation, but presses on nonetheless. Dragons have a very storied history in Kuvalia. Some say that in ancient times, dragonkind had war with elementals, and it was that war that created the very land that we live on now. Kuvalia is shaped by bringing order to the chaos, in fact. And with the recent deception by dragonkind that led to the attempted assassination of our emperor. That has chilled the hearts of many a Kuvalian people.
Okay. I think Bryn kind of like notices the small hesitation and uncomfortable, and he just kind of leaves it at that. He's like, "Oh, okay. Well, thank you for the insight." Or shoot that.
No worries. Have you thought about what you might go and see here in Kuvalia?
Jeez. I was thinking about going to the capital city. I can't remember what it's called now. But is there anywhere you think that would be nice to visit that would also be amenable to outsiders? Because that would be a concern. We don't want to make people too uncomfortable, I suppose.
Of course, I understand completely. I myself am very partial to the elemental cascades in the Southlands. It's a wonderful and beautiful arrangement of elemental energies that ripple across the powers of the mountain. In particular, there are quite a number of waterfalls and falls of fire and air, in fact, that are breathtaking. Beauty at its purest form. If I had an airship, that's where I would go.
Does that sound cool, girls? And Phelan?
Phelan just chuckles a little and
Sounds
nods.
great.
But if you would permit me, I have a question. Rumors are that you hail from somewhere other than Insaris, and judging by the language difficulties, I believe that to be true. It's very rare to find folk in, our continent that cannot speak the language. So I'm curious, where are you from? Can you tell me about where your homeland is?
Well, let's ask some of the experts.
Mira sort of looks over at the others, and Bren in particular, and waits for an okay from Bren before she starts talking.
You're muted.
Absolutely. Our home, it's complicated. I would think that someone who, like yourself, can see the beauty in something as pure as the elements, like the air falls and the fire falls, can see the contrast between danger and creative expression in some cases, and that's why it's complicated. Because for us, we left for a reason, but there are things there that we still appreciate. It's not as beautiful as this, I would say. And then he kind of like looks to the two of them as in like, tread lightly, like go ahead.
It seems that this place is full of many types of magic. Magic is more heavily regulated in our homeland. There are types of magic that are frowned upon, to put it lightly. And the opportunity to go out and explore presented itself. And we felt that it might be a good idea for all of us to leave based on the conditions we were finding ourselves in. I know that your country has been through turbulence over the past, recent memory, and I fear the same for our home. And there are many we left behind who we are worried about. But as it stood, there was nothing that we could do in the present moment to help change the tides. And so we are here looking for adventure and learning
Reprieve.
and hope and reprieve.
We seem to be at the beginning of what you all have already experienced, but it's not at the hand of any dragons. Unfortunately, it's at the hand of its own citizens.
See. Well, I hope that our peaceful civilization is able to offer you that escape that you need. I would not wish a war of any measure upon a people. So I will merely say I hope very much that whatever difficulties your people suffer through ends quickly. And as he says that, another figure starts making their way over towards you. And it's very easy to spot this figure. Oh crap, where'd their art go?
Not so easy, is it? No, I'm just kidding.
There. A person, it's kind of hard to tell gender. They approach they're about 6 feet tall, notably dark red skin. There's ribbons of gold, almost like veins throughout their skin, almost like burning underneath the surface. Fiery red hair in a somewhat chaotic pattern on top of their head. And they wear these cobalt-colored, ashen-colored robes. One of the first things that you notice very clearly, though, is on the center of their chest, in the robes that they wear, is the symbol of Kuvalia. And this symbol glows as if it's on fire as well. And as they approach, you notice Narek immediately stands and, like, full height, shoulders back, head slightly tilted upwards, and notably looks nervous. 80 can feel the kind of oh shit expression roll off of them emotionally. And as
Is this like...
Suit.
Oh.
I'm sorry, they were talking over each other. Say that again?
Is this like an oh shit, here comes the supervisor type feel? Or is this like, oh shit, this is the police?
Supervisor sort of situation.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Somebody else was speaking too, and I didn't catch who.
I said I'll just follow suit.
Okay. Yeah, so Sisk, you stand up like this too. I'm imagining Sisk doesn't do like full on, hyperextended back attention sort of thing. I think Sisk would understand the rules of decorum in this particular situation, and just standing up is notable enough. And as they approach, they walk straight up to the gate. Their hands are clasped behind their back, and they look at all of you with the gold burning retinas of their eyes, each of you in turn, very quickly, and say, "Foreign visitors require oversight. You seek documentation to move freely within Kuvalia." And as they pull their hands out from behind their back, you can see that they have all of the papers, the ones that you had signed, as well as the folded paper from the Skyguard in their hand.
Do they have a translator thing?
Yes.
Bryn's kind of like not liking the vibe, and he's like, yes, we were granted permission. That's why we're here.
You were granted
your name?
authority to come to the Foreign Affairs Office, but that does not give you authority to embark upon the rest of Kuvalia.
Mira?
I believe that is why we are here, to seek permission, visitors' passes.
Narek begins to speak up as well, but as soon as Narek gets even the slightest utterance out of his mouth, the figure holds up a hand and silences him. "If that is what you wish, and you require a patron, one who is willing to vouch for your intentions and be held responsible for your actions. Without one, I see no reason to permit you beyond where you have traveled thus far."
Raise my hand. Is this standard procedure?
Yes, for those of your situation.
Which is? Brent's a little agitated.
You come to our shores in a very powerful vessel, one that we do not fully comprehend the ramifications of just yet. And thus, your permission requires some additional recourse.
How is someone who is not from Kuvalia to acquire a patron?
Well, that is your concern, not mine.
What?
And
So we...
as they say this, you hear another voice that you had not seen this person approaching. You hear another voice from behind this individual call out very loudly, but kind of with a hint of humor to it. Now, Sarek, there's no need to be so harsh. These are fine travelers. They look like the adventurous sort to me. Surely someone of any means, would love to sponsor such talented individuals as this. And you can see this other figure kind of moves from around behind the figure that you now know to be named Sarek. Sarek turns, and you can tell very clearly that their expression on their face moves to agitation. They weren't agitated before. Now they're agitated. And they shift to the side, and this older woman steps up, and Sarek speaks. "This is not your concern, Madrona. Unless you wish to sponsor them." And the woman that you know to be Madrona says, "Well, maybe I will sponsor them, in fact. What exactly," and Madrona kind of points to you, Bren. What exactly is your business here in Kuvalia? Who do you work for?
What am I supposed to say? Jesus? Sorry. Well, ma'am?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
For what it's worth, also,
no.
to kind of describe this woman a bit more, she's short and stout, obviously of dwarven heritage. Her ashen gray skin implies to you perhaps a deep dwarf lineage. The way that she carries herself is definitely as a person of importance. She has this kind of casualness to her that belies that she has little care for the frustrations of the world. You can tell very clearly that this ornate cane that she has in one hand is very much ornamental and not required for her movement. She's not leaning on it. It is very much well, it's like a status symbol in the way that she is presenting herself. Her attire is very, very fine, silken, golden thread, bits of jewelry here and there that are obviously costly. A woman of wealth and a woman of importance, at least to herself, anyway.
Thank you, Miss Madrona. We don't technically work for anybody. We're all.
What's
part
your
of the
name,
same
young
group.
man? You know mine.
My name is Bren. Captain Bren, if you want a title, but it's just.
Well, very well, Captain Bren. You have no business to account for? You have no person to be accounted to from wherever you hail?
Not a single one.
I see. 80, give me an insight check, please.
Of course. 17.
Okay. 80 picks up on the moment that Bren implied that you answered no one. That was exactly what Madrona wanted to hear. 80 starts getting hair on the back of her neck starts standing up. 80's history with, some of the bad things that she's done, some of the bad people that she's had to associate with in her life. That feeling starts creeping into her chest. There's a certain quality that Madrona has that is starting to put 80 off a bit. 80, of course, is very poker-faced and, able to hide that if you want to. You do anything as this conversation has gone
on? I don't think she would change anything about, the way her face is set, the way she's sitting. But I do think she would, in that moment, sort of open up her connection with Mira just a little bit to be able to, sort of share her hesitation and this prickling feeling that she has. And then she would sort of shut it out.
Does Mira do anything then? Bear in mind, this is all happening while Bren and Madrona are conversing.
I just glance over at 80 and silently kind of ask if she wants me to intervene or if I should let it. So I'll kind of raise my shoulders a little bit.
I mean, it was a long time for us getting here, and we heard some wonderful
Oh,
things.
yes. This airship of yours that you came in on, that's, everyone's talking about all of that.
Okay, so I'm no spring chicken either. And
Oh, come on
this is
now.
like-
You can't be more than 50 or 60 at this point, can you?
sorry, that was above table.
Oh, sorry.
So this is like the third or fourth time that somebody specifically mentioned the airship before mentioning us.
Yeah.
Which normally it's like, ooh, new people in town, not the new Cadillac that they came in on.
Right.
I'd like to make an insight check, but not on her, but my group.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. And I'm gonna use an advantage because
Sure.
because we got him.
Roll it high.
All right, here we go. DD dice. It's a 21. DD dice for all of your virtual dice rolling needs.
You're gonna shout it out every time you roll over 20, huh?
Yep.
As the chat says, I was expecting a 4.
Yeah.
So out of curiosity, I'll let you guys all describe how you're feeling, what Bren might be picking up on. You're of course able to, if you would like to hide things. It's entirely up to you. I will say for your other two companions that are with you, I would think that Bren, as you are kind of like at some point or other casually, using humor to maybe, hide that you're glancing back to your companions, I will say that Phelan is kind of confused by what's happening here. Doesn't seem to be fully on board with, he kind of has that same vibe that you've been having, but isn't hiding it behind any kind of a mask. Oriana is perfectly still and stone-faced, which is not normal for her. And I think that you're picking up on a fair bit of she doesn't want to be here right now sort of vibe. As far as the others,
I feel like once again 80 is not trying to show any difference by looking at her, but Bren, I think at this point you would probably have noticed that when 80 and Mira open their connection and are able to sort of feel each other out, that it's like a crinkle in the eye, or just a micro expression that wouldn't indicate anything else, but you can tell that we're tuned into each other. We don't have to be facing each other. We don't have to, but there's
it's
just
probably
a little
something that he's picked up on quite a bit between the two of you now that you've been traveling together for 6 months or more. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So there's that we're sort of communicating about something, but you might not know what exactly. At least on my end.
I think you will notice that Mira is suddenly a little warier than she was before. I think with Narek, she was a little more open, and she was willing to be a little feisty with Sirach, but she's suddenly holding herself back with Madrona in a way that she wasn't before.
And I think in that... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kay, if you're going to get in on this.
Yeah, it was just that I think Sisk.
How are you feeling, Kay?
Yeah. Well, I had therapy today, so anyway, so Sisk is kind of, you probably know Sisk pretty well, even through different faces. They are bored and annoyed. It's hopefully not coming off to Sirach or Madrona, but
wait, is that their name? Because that's a Baka name. That's why I laughed. Sorry.
I don't know. They are. This feels like it's a power play between these two now. It's not about us, and we're gonna be in somebody's pocket, and this woman might be this person, and there's kind of like a helpless, like, I guess, whatever.
Could you remind me the name of the person who put the crown on your friend to change their mind above table?
Oh, put the crown. Oh, Kellanun.
Kellanun. Okay.
Chokran.
Got
Yeah.
it. I'm going to go with Chokran. I think seeing that, like, Bren, just to get confirmation, he turns around, he looks at the group and is like, our friend here, they remind me of somebody from back home. I just can't pick between the two if it's Mr. Babino or Kellanun. Like, where is it? It's like right here.
I mean, that's a tough one. I can definitely see where you're picking up from both of them.
Right?
Probably more like Kellanun. I don't know.
Right? Oh. It just turns back to Madonna. Is like, yeah, somebody we knew in the past. They were very outspoken, almost to their detriment. But it's kind of a badge of courage. But
well, I've always ascribed to the notion that it's okay to be outspoken as long as you are honest and forthright in your outspokenness. And I'm very much forthright in my outspokenness. Now, let's see if we can solve this little problem for you. Now, Serac, you are trying to belabor our friends here by saying that they need a patron. Serac. This entire time, Serac has just been almost like through gritted teeth. Like they are forced to tolerate this person. Just simply nods and says, yes, that is the requirement.
If I may, I'm sorry. I don't want to burden Serac any further. Rules are rules. And I think it would only be fair if we discuss this as a group. I also don't want to belabor you as well. We just met. I prefer to talk business over pleasantries, but if you could, and I appreciate the offer, it is well appreciated. I think we need to discuss a few things first before we make a decision or ask for help.
Well, by all means, you can, of course, discuss whatever you like. Meanwhile, Narek, by the way, has been standing at attention this whole friggin' time. And at this point, you can actually start to see a bit of sweat forming, like, in his armpits.
Oh, jeez.
And he's just, like, very uncomfortable. And Serac looks at him and says, what are you still doing here? You have business to attend to. And Narek just kind of nods and immediately starts shuffling out. He stumbles a little bit as his ankle hits the low table, and immediately starts extricating himself from the situation. As soon as you are ready to speak, and this is Serac talking to you, by the way. As soon as your decision is made and you are ready to assume whoever's patronage is willing to offer for you, you will let me know. And they just...
Question.
Yes?
How are we to find a patron if technically we don't have the papers to be able to speak to anyone or obtain the ability? Is there?
It seems like you have a patron right here willing to offer you. And they just turn on their heel and start walking to the adjudicator's dais. They seem to...
Wonderful to meet you.
...not be willing to sit. Madrana, in the meantime, just starts kind of chuckling to herself a bit. She places a thumb on one of her belts, and she kind of leans very, very ever so lightly upon her cane, and she just chuckles and says, You cannot believe the level of sticks that these people go through.
Mm.
But please, discuss things amongst yourself. I'm going to go and finish dealing... I'm sorry, question?
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Is there... This is perhaps indelicate, but are there strings attached with your patronage?
Well, of course, I would hope that you would not put me in any kind of dangerous situation in which I might have to explain you breaking laws and the like.
Of course not. We are here to observe, to learn.
Standing upright citizens of the world. The only string... Well, I'd be very interested in seeing your airship, but that is entirely upon your purveyance. I would not deign to command such an interest. Please, discuss amongst yourselves, though. I'm going to go and finish some of my business just now. I'll probably have at least another hour or so for you to make your decision.
We are very grateful for your offer.
Of course you are. And she just kind of wraps her cane a couple of times on the stone floor. It echoes a bit. And she turns and starts heading back to whatever desk she had been taking care of business from before. As soon as she departs, Oriana, in a very, very quiet and hushed voice, says, I do not like that woman. Not one bit.
Well, I know that today has been quite a day, and we have been in this building for, it feels like a long time, to me at least. You know, it's kind of amazing that we're required to have a patron and one was so readily available for us. But, you know, my thought is, since we do want to be upstanding citizens, and the whole time Adie's talking, she's very aware of not, like, she's talking in a way where, you know, they're probably being listened to in one way or another. She doesn't trust anything. I would personally like to, I guess, feel out different people in the community to make sure that we are aligning ourselves with somebody who, you know, is an upstanding citizen, someone who, you know, isn't going to cause any trouble or get us into any trouble. So, you know, perhaps we can meet a few more people and just see.
My problem, I don't think they are going to let us do that. This seems like you're either leaving the city, like I think they're trying to force our hand.
Sure. Well, you know, and I think you might very well be right there, but maybe we should just sort of, you know, head back and we can talk about it later, or you know, maybe we'll meet someone on the way out of the city. She's like looking at Bren like,
I have an idea, but I agree with you. Where's Narek?
Narek scurried off.
I mean, he's super big. Like, can I find him?
I mean, you can see him like towards he had come from the very back of the place. It's fair to say that in your interactions with Narek and the circumstances and everything, that you don't believe Narek to be a very high profile person within this organization.
I want to get his attention.
Oh, he's like well far at the back. If you wanted to get his attention, you're going to have to find some interesting means of doing so.
How interesting?
I don't know. what links would Bren go to get the attention? There are a lot of
straight up.
there are a lot of people around, and like potentially Bren wouldn't be able to do it per se, but might be able to get Sisk or maybe Mira to grab one of the other clerks to maybe communicate something to Narek.
Do either of you have those little knick-knack things that you make for each other? You have like one on you?
What knick-knack things are you?
I think I'm confusing characters with actual people, because don't you guys have like ducks? Yeah, okay. That's not your characters, that's what y'all do. Okay, solid. Bringing it back.
Retcon.
Yeah, I'm in rare form today.
We could either flag a clerk. I could, if we have 10 minutes, I think we're running short on time, but I could send over a, small mouse or something.
Do you think we have 10 minutes?
No.
Okay, wait. What do we?
Meanwhile,
need to
Phelan
work
is
about?
standing there. I'm so just to be perfectly clear on this, you want to get the attention of the big man, yes?
Phelan, you're here.
Where else would I be? I've been here the whole time.
You're so quiet. It's weird.
I'm on purpose.
Yeah, I understand. So here's the thing. We asked Narek to contact his uncle. Hey, come here. Adrian, we have to do business with him anyway. He has our money.
I can send a message to him. He's pretty close to the edge of it.
No, they don't do. Mind magic is not good here. They don't like that.
I was under the assumption that was reading someone's mind.
I don't know.
I don't think we're in a position to take chances.
Send a little bird message.
Yeah, send a squirrel. But do we have the time for that is the question.
What are we trying to communicate to him?
We need your help. Come to the Office of Foreign Affairs. They require us to have a patron.
Well,
But that's
Oriana.
Just to be clear, you wanting that communicated to Narek so that Narek can go and speak to his uncle and have the uncle
No.
come
Talk to
here.
the uncle.
No. It's either if we can't get Narek's attention to go get his uncle.
Right, that's what I mean.
We send a message, sends Narek to his uncle.
Gotcha. Right. Seems reasonable to me.
Oriana, does Oriana, does she see a way out of this? Or is this the bad thing she was thinking about?
As Sisk asks that, Oriana just shrugs and is like, I don't think this was the bad thing that I was prophesizing. I kind of got some tingles when we were going by the temple for that. Something about that. This is a whole other vein of things. This is a little bit strange. It seems like there's a lot of duplicity going on here. And I don't like that personally.
It feels like a setup. It really does. How much time do we have above minutes?
However much time you need.
Hour.
The only timetable that you've been given thus far was from Madrana saying she's here for at least an hour. And it was, suggested to you to take all the time that you need. You can see that there are some people starting to filter out of the offices. They're pretty close to closing time.
Can I snag a nearby clerk and ask him to see if Narek would come speak to us one more time?
The clerk nods and, of course, and heads off. A few minutes later, Narek starts making his way over to you. You can tell now that Narek is very nervous. exceedingly nervous. He keeps glancing over his shoulder to the adjudicator's dais as he approaches, and he's walking with a more formal gait as he approaches you. And he steps up. Is there something that I can do for you?
We are being required to have a patron.
Yes, I heard that from Adjudicator Sirac.
Would your Uncle Ganthelrook be in a position to...
Uncle Gan? Just kind of glances to the side a bit. I don't know if that would be in your best interest, if I'm being perfectly honest. Uncle Gan, he's well respected in some circles within our governance, but in others he is not respected at all.
What about you?
I hold absolutely no status to be able to offer a patronage.
What do you mean? Like, it seems to be that we just need someone to vouch for us. We need nothing from you, and honestly, if there was anyone...
That's... I feel like that's a lot to ask of
I appreciate that, sir, very much, that you would hold me in such regard as that, but I can promise you that that would not be sufficient to allay Sarac's requirement.
Is it a monetary thing? Like, I'm trying to understand why. We just need a citizen to vouch for us.
You need a citizen of importance to vouch for you. You need a citizen that understands the severity of what is being asked and has the connections to make that reasonable. I know it may seem like this is an arduous thing that is being requested of you, and it is certainly not the norm, but your appearance and the method by which you arrived is very much outside of the norm of the people that come from outside of Kuvalian lands. It's definitely raising some eyebrows.
We have been offered patronage from Madrona.
Oh, Madrona is a lovely woman.
Is there any reason we should have any reservations about accepting her patronage?
I mean, she's one of the wealthiest individuals in the city. I couldn't think of anything. She does a great deal of business here and abroad. She's one of the biggest importers of goods from Intreska in particular, but much of the Southlands, Zestrum to the east. She even supposedly has some dealings as far south as the deserts. She's very well traveled. I think she would have a very good understanding of what it means to deal with, no offense, foreign individuals such as yourselves, and that has to carry some weight. I can also tell you this much, that she and Serac hate each other, so.
We don't want to take up any more of your time.
Okay.
Oh, wow. That just noticed.
Is that what you did for the advantage that the hail that you just got from Regina?
Yeah, sure. I get into a character.
It's just Sisk, like, drawing it.
Yeah.
Standing there and just like, okay.
We're grateful for your assistance, and we don't want to take up any more of your time or
No,
get you into trouble, so we will let you go.
There's a sense of relief that kind of washes over him. Thank you. I also, just so you're aware, I've been instructed to process your paperwork, so I'll be here until you leave.
Thank you.
Just kind of nods and turns and starts lumbering away.
So, we did ask Madrona if there were strings attached, but I don't know if we could switch patrons. I feel like this is a you choose one time and that's it sort of situation, and it feels a lot like we have only one option. What are your thoughts?
I think we should accept and be careful of the ways that we share information. And we can always leave if Ataract becomes a place that we are running into trouble.
Maybe we can be 3 steps ahead.
Sorry, Kay, that is just so distracting.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. You're good, bud.
Fun. Yeah, okay.
What if we continue the conversation with her, and then 80, if you're comfortable, maybe get us a read.
Phelan kind of speaks up and says, I don't need AD's gift to understand that woman wants on board our ship.
And again, that's like, okay, so if we're all in agreement that is the play, why are we going to accept this offer?
Well, the question
It's going
is,
to end up one.
the question is,
Mhm.
is letting someone on board the ship inevitable? Because it feels like that's getting just as much attention as we are.
I don't want to be indebted to somebody, especially a very important businesswoman who does dealings across the continent. She sees us with an airship, she does us a favor. The next thing she's going to ask is for us to transport or pick up, and we're not in that business.
I don't really want us to forget that this technically isn't our ship. Technically. I mean, I kind of feel like we didn't, build it from the ground up. It came from somewhere.
Yeah, but no, this is, hold on. Put your name in the goblet of fire. No, this is our ship. It may have come from somewhere else, but we put it back. I'm not even gonna go. You put it back together.
It's fine.
You,
I mean,
like,
technically
it's
speaking,
ours.
from the rights of salvage, it is ours. Just saying.
The rights of salvage.
More where my brain was going was that, like, if we have a patron who's very interested in the use of this ship, and then they decide to, travel across the continent in this ship that looks a lot like a ship from another place, perhaps, that we could really get a lot of wires crossed, and that sort of thing. Does that make sense?
I feel like we're saying the same thing, just under different circumstances.
Right. You 100% agree with both of you. My question is it inevitable that we bring someone on board the ship? Because if it's inevitable, then it's something that we're going to have to prepare for. This person might be the known quantity for us now. It's fair, I mean, as much as she might think she's hiding it, it's fairly transparent to us all what she wants. And if we can understand that, maybe it'll be okay.
I'd like to understand before we agree to anything, to see if it's something that we're comfortable in taking, because it's not just us here. There's Dove, there's his son, there's Tig, there's Ren. This is not something that we should be doing lightly, and frankly, I don't want to do it at all. I have a half of mine to throw random gold at people, buy food, and leave.
I don't think they will let us buy food.
Phelan just kind of
also-
looks at Sisk and says, yeah, I think we can take care of that.
I also
There's a wink.
think that we can ask Madrona for more information, but I think there are politics at play here that we will not be privy to.
As you say that, you kind of glance around to everyone, and Mira, I think, is going to notice this before anyone else. Oriana has her open eyes rolled up in the back of her head. And as you've seen her do this before when she is performing her divinations. As she's doing this, and you say that, her eyes snap forward and look at you. And she says, there is definitely something else happening here. And I think there's someone else about to come in. And as you all just kind of stop and start looking around, another figure walks into the hall. A blue-skinned woman, very certain to be Era Genasi for you. Blue-skinned woman of phenomenal attire. You feel very genuinely that Madrona is a woman of wealth. This woman makes Madrona look like a pauper as she steps into the room. The doors have been open, and behind her, you can see several figures kind of peeking in the door, watching her, as if trying to surreptitiously catch a glance at whoever this woman is. Your eyes are immediately drawn to her, as are everyone in the room. And you can tell very clearly that she is a woman of great importance. Almost celebrity-like in the way she steps into the space. And as she steps forward, she glances in your direction. And I need for each of you to please make a perception or insight check, whichever's higher, or whichever one you want to do.
I'm going to use an advantage.
Okay.
I did perception and I got a dirty 20.
Okay. I saw a couple of extra dice there. Did anyone else use an advantage?
Yeah. No, I just kept clicking. I had 21.
Okay.
I got a 15.
18 perception.
Okay. So Sisk and 80. There's a moment as her eyes glance in your direction. And I think Sisk picks up on this in a different way than 80 does. 80 sees a familiarity in her eyes. Sisk sees a transmutation. Sisk sees Zaranthra's eyes. A dragon, there's a momentary glimpse where the eyes are no longer humanoid, but rather draconic, as she glances in your direction. And it's that fast. It's the kind of thing that I think only Sisk really can pick up on. But 80 feels a familiarity. 80 looks at this woman and says, I know you, and I don't know why I know you, and I hate that I know you right now, and I hate that I don't know why I know you.
What movie is she in? I can't fucking figure it out.
Yeah. It's got to be something with Leonardo DiCaprio, right? Like, it's right there. It has to be.
Only because he's done 842 movies. And so as this woman kind of walks into the space and catches everyone's attention, Sisk, you have a moment that you could say or do something if you wanted, and 80 as well.
I can't remember what I did when I first saw her, but I will do like a little something, just like a, you know.
I meant like letting your companions know kind of something, but
no. I'll be like,
Sisk is just standing there going,
What's wrong with you?
no.
What are you doing?
I'll tell. She's blue. I trust her, and I think you guys should too.
blue skin people unite.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'll fill you in later, but I think we can go with Miss Blue.
I think
Blue babes.
would open up the twin bond connection again to share a feeling of relief, and I think that she would not entirely hide her face. I think she would allow just sort of a bit of a smile, not full relief in her face, but just kind of like, okay, this is a person who's, cool-ish, maybe.
Meanwhile, fully turns his head and goes, "Are we good?" Just like out loud. There's no connection. There's no subtle. Are we good?
And Bren, you just see Phelan standing there, like jaw agape.
Your girlfriend's right there. What are you doing?
What?
My girlfriend's right there. She's coming towards us.
Hey, go talk to her. Pushes.
So Zyra is not coming towards you. Let me be clear. Zyra is walking through the chamber, but she is not walking towards you. She had just glanced in your direction. And so as Zyra makes her way forward, and everything basically grinds to a halt, it is fairly safe to say that you all would be able to also pick up from Madrana that Madrana does not like this woman, like at all. There's an instantaneous Madrana who is very gregarious and kind of a happy-go-lucky sort. Facial expression just instantly changes to all business seriousness. And as Zyra kind of steps forward, she continues past the, through the various stone desks where clerks are at. The few clerks that are still here are all kind of just watching her slack-jawed, and she walks straight up to the adjudicator's dais. And as she stands there, you can't quite hear what's being said, but Serac, who is standing at the dais over Zyra, is looking down at her, and there's words that are being exchanged. And you can tell fairly clearly that Serac is very impatient in this circumstance, but also is showing Zyra perhaps a little bit more deference than he had shown, or than they had shown Madrana. There isn't that disdain between Serac and Zyra that there is between Serac and Madrana. And there's some nodding, more discussion, some nodding. And Zyra turns and starts walking away from the dais towards all of you. Very notably towards you. And as soon as she goes past Madrana, she because she has to walk by Madrona. There's this like shared glance between them, and Madrona is just like instantaneously like pissed. Like if you've seen Mean Girls, you know the facial expression. She's just pissed. And she immediately starts walking back to Serac, while Zyra starts walking towards all of you. What's your expressions at this point? Bearing in mind that Sisk is the only one that knows that this is Zaranthra. Because Sisk didn't tell you guys that this is Zaranthra. So Sisk is too busy flirting.
Yeah.
Have I seen any like cultural signs of deference, like a shallow bow or like ways to acknowledge?
Yeah, particularly with the Skyguard, the Air Genasi Skyguard. And you believe that this woman is, and from your perspective anyway, this woman appears to be an Air Genasi. And so you remember in particular the captain of the Skyguard as well as the marshal. All were very formal and methodical in the way that they interacted. There was a lot of mutual deference that was pressed upon you as well as requested in the way that they interacted.
Mira would try to replicate that sort of formal stance and copy any gestures of deference that she had witnessed.
Yeah. If you recall correctly, or you would recall correctly, but I mean, Mira would recall correctly. So for you, it was bow basically 45 degrees at the hips, your eyes look, averting downward as a sign of respect. What about 80?
I think she would like watch her coming and sort of like continue to look at her eyes, trying to place who this is. And then maybe like 2.5 seconds after seeing Mira bow, she would think, oh, fuck. And then try to bow too. Maybe not quite as gracefully, but she would, try to show some respect.
What about Bren?
I think Bren and Phelan, like together, are like,
yeah. They're probably like standing arm to arm, elbow to elbow at this point, with the exact same expressions.
No words are being said, but there's a whole lot of conversation going on. Ha ha!
Oriana, for what it's worth, has moved basically behind everyone and is kind of using you all as a shield, but you know that that's a common defense mechanism that Oriana uses. So. What about Sisk? Is Sisk turning on the charm?
Oh, yeah.
Standing one leg straight, hip tilted to the side a bit.
Yeah, I'll do like a whatever bow. I'll add a little extra flourish, and then we're not really being watched by Serac and Madrona right now, or are they?
Oh no, the Serac and Madrona are in a heated conversation at the back of
Perfect.
Yeah,
I love that. And
twirl your mustache.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I'll flash. I'll flash my face, my Sisk face. I
think it would occur to Sisk to just do the eyes.
Oh, just do the eyes.
Sisk's eyes are
enough?
Distinguishing enough, and that's what Zyra did for Sisk a moment ago.
Yeah.
So
I'll do that.
Yeah.
Like recognizes like.
Mm-hmm. And as this beautiful woman approaches, you can tell that she walks with an authority about her, and she just steps right into your space. She opens the gate and steps into it, and she just stands there, and in the same voice that you all would immediately recognize as Zaranthra from before, she says, "It's a pleasure meeting you all again."
Oh, okay.
Glad to see you. We've just been going about the standard procedure and business of getting the paperwork signed. Turns out we need to find a patron in order to remain in the city.
Yes, I have been informed of such. It's not entirely unusual, if perhaps a little unexpected given the circumstances, but I believe that there are things taking place within the current workings of the government that are challenging, potentially going to be challenging more in the future as well. As it relates to you, anyway.
Well, it seems that the only patron that we have sort of been offered so far is Madrona. And
I feel I must correct you. Madrona may be the only one that you have been approached with up until now, but there are two.
oh, thank goodness. Okay. That's
Woo!
I didn't want to ask and, assume, but that makes me feel better.
Oh, goodness.
The Merchant House Valen will be happy to afford you patronage as you walk and fly amongst the Kuvalian people.
Thank you. That is great news.
It's an honor. Thank you.
You are welcome. You should be advised, however, that this circumstance will draw a great deal of attention, more so than you have already acquired. You can very much expect more people to be interested in you than have ever been.
Kind of a two-part question. I guess first is, how do we best navigate that without, causing more trouble? And two, a lot of people seem really interested in our ship, and how might we protect it?
Carefully. My only true suggestion would be pick and choose who it is that you allow to come on board, and make it known that they are coming on board. Make it known the kind of personas that you are willing to allow on board your ship. That will drive away those that could never hope to be part or privy to that, while also establishing that you're not opposed to people discovering and learning. That was one of the mistakes that I think our last airship visitors had, was that they chose to seclude themselves in their ship, and that created a great deal of distrust. And
I want to know about them. Who are they?
perhaps we can discuss that in the future. But for now,
At dinner?
yes, but not tonight. I have other business. I will see you tomorrow, for certain. To finish, well, to ensure that the Valen name becomes known definitively. You can expect me to arrive at your vessel tomorrow evening. I will send messenger if there is anything else that I require. If you need to contact me in the interim, and do not wish to use any of the magic that you possess, any messenger within the city will be able to find the Valens. And you merely need to suggest that it is a message for Zyra. That is how you will address me. Zyra. and you can feel the implicit severity with which that she says that. As far as the rest, it will work itself out. I am certain. But be advised, this circumstance can spiral out of control if it is not handled well. Do you have any additional questions before I go?
No, but thank you for your help.
Of course.
We appreciate it.
You should know that I was prepared to offer this help after our first meeting. I had just hoped that it would not come to this.
Actually, to me at least, and I'm pretty sure the rest of us, that actually means a lot.
Good. Then you are not fools. She glances at Phelan, most of you. I hope that your evening treats you well. And remember, you will have the eyes of all of Kuvalia upon you now. This news will spread quickly, if it has not already begun. I shall see you tomorrow. And she bows. As she does that, you kind of get to look past her for a moment, and you can see that pretty much every eye in the place is looking in your direction, with the exception of Madrana and Serac. And as she stands to full height once again, she just nods to each of you and starts heading towards the doors.
See? I knew I'd figure it out.
Phelan just kind of leans back and tilts his head and looks at you, rolling his eyes. Good job, Captain. Glad you were here
Thank
to
you.
help us navigate the situation. Your leadership is inspiring to everyone.
Keep going, yeah.
I'll make sure and let Ren know just how important you were in all of
That'll
this.
be
So, do we have to sign anything else, or can we leave?
As you
That's a good question.
ask that, you can see Madrana just storming out of the building. She looks at you, and there is no more mask. There is no more persona that she had obviously adopted from before. Her gregarious nature is now gone, and she stares at you, frankly, as if she could kill you. As she
Everyone wave at the nice lady.
As you glance back to the adjudicator's dais, you see Narek standing beside it, being handed a few pieces of paper. And he looks them over and nods, and Serac is like instructing him, and like he's just nodding, not saying anything. Bear in mind that Serac is so large that Narek is so large that Serac is like barely above eyeline for him. Whereas before he had been like looming over everyone because of the raised dais. Narek is supremely tall, and that stature difference is noticeable. Seems like as though something that Serac probably doesn't appreciate. But Narek gets the documents and starts walking towards you, and you can see pretty clearly that there is like a sense of relief on his face. And as he approaches you, he just like steps up to the edge, up to the gate, and he says, "Hi, why? How do you know her?"
We just got it like that, Playboy. It's just. No, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess word travels fast when newcomers come to town. Seems that it got high enough.
It's about to travel a lot faster. Like, a lot.
That's what we hear. Yeah.
Anyway, here you go. Here's your documents that you'll need to present. Any city that you travel to that has a foreign affairs office or has a sky guard will accept these documents. Says that you can travel freely amongst the realm of Kuvalia and do business as you like. It is worth mentioning, I must reiterate, and he kind of glances over his shoulder in the direction of Serac, that any actions that you take will fall either positively or negatively upon the merchant house of Valen. If you can keep that in mind, it would be greatly appreciated by all parties involved.
Thank you, Merrick. You've been invaluable. Is there anything we can do to help you, give you something? I could give you some gold. I could write a really nice review.
A survey, yeah.
Well, we do have surveys, actually. I'll fetch you one.
Fetch us 5, 6. I might just write on all of them, but
Yeah.
Of course.
There's no questions about medical history, is there? Like, it's just your standard. How was the service?
It's a survey of how well we do our jobs.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, we'll take 6.
Right.
We also probably will need to speak to our other companions, but I hope that we will be able to extend an invitation for you to visit our airship.
Really? Oh,
You've been very helpful.
that would be amazing. Yes, I would greatly appreciate that opportunity. Of course.
do you want to come at the same time as Uncle Gan or at a separate time? Just to offer.
If Uncle Gan is going, then I would absolutely love to come with him if that's all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Wonderful. And he just kind of, I'll go get the surveys. And he just kind of meanders away over to another desk and comes back a few moments later with a small pile of folded up parchment and hands them to you. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoy your time here in Kuvalia and find some opportunities to relax and see our country for what it is.
Derek, you're great. I really like you.
Oh, well, thanks. Bren, right?
Yeah, Brad. Can't wait for you to see the ship. Very excited to have you.
Me as well. Have a good night then. And I can show you out. And he opens the gate for all of you and starts leading you to the entrance. As you all step out, you can see that the crowd has grown in size. In fact, it's now probably what before was maybe a couple of dozen people is now probably closer to 50.
This is the protesting group.
No, this is the people that were gathered outside of the halls here that
Gotcha.
were mainly just interested in you because they knew you would be coming here at some point. And now there's more. So as you step out, there's eyes, 50 pairs of eyes on all of you. Oriana moves in behind and very much is trying to hide behind the group.
In this kind of moment, Bren looks at the twins and at Sis and goes, "You want to have fun?"
Within bounds of having us reflect well on how's Phelan, but yeah,
Yes,
always.
yes. You want to have fun with this? How are we feeling? Got papers? We can do business? Yeah? Cool. Who wants to see a magic trick?
You say that and they can't understand a word that you just said.
Sis,
There's a bunch
please.
of people that like hear you and like snap their attention directly at you, and there's some confusion.
This is like in Princess Bride, where Montoya's trying to open the door and he's like, "Fezzik, please." Sis, could you please?
All right. I'll straighten up a little bit. I'll do a little stretch. I'll be like, "Hello, people of Kuvalia. Would you like to see a few magic tricks from across the seas?"
There's more than a few people. I mean, you have full rapt attention from everybody, and there's more than a few people that are like nod and call out, "Of course, yes, magic."
All right. What are we doing, Brand?
Oh, what were we doing? I think we should do Drunk Bear and Sparkly Hands. What do you think? Come on.
I mean, they might have seen that before, but we.
But they haven't seen it like we do it. You ready? You ready?
I'm ready. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I have a terrible idea.
Obviously,
All
keep
right.
going.
Yeah. Okay. I put Sisk as their form on my shoulders, and I go, "Okay, tell them to get ready. Here we go."
All right, everybody, get ready for this. You will not believe your eyes.
I cast jump. We jump in the air.
As a
I'm holding on to Sis, and then I turn into a bear. But it's just a straight line. I'm not jumping over people. But it's
Yeah,
not that far. It's like 20 feet.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, woo!
I
Sparkly
cast
hands.
feather fall on us so that we don't die.
That's part of the plan.
That's part of it. Okay, good.
That's part of the plan. You're supposed to do that.
So
Yeah,
as
it's a fantasy
this
world.
as this miracle of magic is taking place, what do 80 and Mira do as Phelan just hides Oriana as best they can?
I'm gonna cast friends.
I try to make it a little more flashy and cast prestidigitation with some like sparks flying and make it a little flashy.
Okay.
This is exactly the plan. Thank you. Like, bear, flashy hands. I love it. I love it when shit comes together.
Can I cast distort value and make this seem even more cool?
I have no idea what distort value does, but sure.
Yeah, so that you can get a better price from merchants, basically. But hey,
So it's just this high jumping bear with this man on its back, and then prestidigitated sparks like Roman candles and sparklers, and then we come back down, and Bear Brain goes, "Ah!"
And the whole time, 80 is standing there watching this like, why do I feel like the responsible one? We're supposed to be like chill. We already know where they're like, people are going to be on us like crazy now, and we're doing this bullshit. And, and
80
she's
and-
standing there.
80 and Phelan share a look with each other, like,
Yeah, but like as she's standing there and she's thinking all of this with her hands at her sides, suddenly sparks of light start shooting from her hands, like she just can't contain
oh,
the stupidity, and she just sort of is like, "Yeah, fuck it," and then magic.
And then somewhere in the background, all you hear is "Hearts on fire!" like we're just going for it.
And then Mira looks at 80 and casts Mage Hand, hoping that, yeah. High five.
Mage hand high five! Yes! Oh, this is officially the plan. If for some reason we have to do this again, we're gonna do Sparkly Plan, Sparkly Bear, and this is it. This is it. Oh, thank you for this gift.
Sparkly Bear is the name of your new power move, it appears. You all do this. I need performance checks for this. Is a group performance check now.
Fuck yeah, it is.
I'm using advantage.
I'm using advantage as well.
I too will use an advantage.
Oh yeah, 23.
17.
Dirty 20.
That's a 12 for me, but that I think fits.
Yeah, definitely. The crowd erupts in a series of oohs and ahs and wows and cheers and oh my gods, and just people that have no idea what the hell is happening but are here for it just start clapping and applauding and cheering for all of you. Mira and Sisk are able to hear a few instances of like, why don't we get performances like this? And I would pay to see this, sort of responses. And as you all gather yourselves and start to walk away, I'm assuming that you're leaving the grounds of the office of the Foreign Affairs, and as you're like walking along the grounds and stuff, people are still cheering and whatnot, and a small child comes running over to you, Bren. Are you still a bear as you're walking away? Yeah, comes
100%.
running over to you as a bear. Not afraid of you in the slightest, and has this just like bouquet of flowers in their hand, and just like goes to shove it into your mouth for you to carry.
I gently, the most gentle of grabs of the flowers, but then I think Sis knows to grab them because I want a little flower crown as a bear.
Oh yes. Absolutely.
Sisk starts making a flower crown. The child like runs away from you, giggling, as you all continue to make your way out to the street. You basically have a crowd of people behind you at this point as you are walking. What are you doing?
Oh, I'm Disney's Robin Hood oodling down the street. Like,
where
we
you
probably need a permit for this parade.
Oh, yeah,
Shoot.
probably.
we got papers. We got papers.
Are we going to get like food and stuff, and then what are we doing?
I'd like to be able to speak to people.
Yeah, should go back to Gans and see if he's still around.
Okay, well, are we bringing the whole town with us?
If they want to come.
How do you end a show?
Like that.
Okay, that was also the start of the show, though. So we gotta.
I'm a bear. It's on y'all.
So here's the question for you. Are you taking the same path that you took to get here? To head
Probably,
to
since
Gans?
that's how we know how to get there.
Okay. People start trickling off as you are walking. But when you reach the protest in front of the temple, which is still happening, although there are less protesters there now, and of note, you don't see the blue dragonborn that had shared that look with Mira. The people, like, as soon as they see the protest, everybody just clears out from your entourage of followers.
Mm-hmm. There's that.
You get more than a few looks from the protesters, Bren. Assuming you're still in bear form.
I am. What kind of looks?
Like, not pleasant looks.
Like, are they scared of me or are they angry with me?
It's more scared than angry. Seeing a person riding a bear is not a common sight in the city.
I kind of give a look to the twins in this moment. They're the moral compass because I'm trying to have some fun for some reason. The bear does this. Changes back. Sisk is on his shoulders.
Sorry, it's just,
No, you're right. You're right. And honestly, I shouldn't have encouraged any of that. That's extremely irresponsible. And he's serious. He's like, that's very irresponsible. I'm sorry.
It was
you
fun,
don't have to be
though.
responsible all the time. Yeah, it was great.
It was really fun. Cool. Awesome. Just next time I'll think twice. Everybody was looking. So if you give him something to stare at, right? Hell yeah.
As you all are walking past the protest, you can see that Oriana kind of leans into Phelan a little bit more. Phelan has basically taken the role of protecting Oriana, who's very uncomfortable with all of the attention that, you all have gotten today, but also in that immediate aftermath of, everything, the performance. And you can plainly see, or at least those of you with decent enough perception, I'll leave that up to you, are able to see Oriana kind of clings to Phelan and hides her face a bit from the protesting crowd as you all move past. But you do move past without incident. And eventually, the sounds of the protests you leave behind as you continue to make your way to the Curio. Now I have a question for you all. Do you wish to have any kind of particular conversations with Ganthelrook at the Curio? Or is it a scenario of simply wanting to pick up your things and head back to the ship and or other business? And welcome in, Raiders. Thank you so much for joining us. Who was that raided us?
Magic Academy.
And thank you so much, Academy, for being here and joining us. Yes. This was an above table question for me as the GM to you as the players.
I feel like perhaps since we bring a lot of attention with us, maybe we should go in, buy our goods, say a quick hello, and then leave. We can maybe come back at another time and
Yeah, I think any conversation outside of hello, how's it going? We're here to pick up our things, and then let him know about the invite for him and Derek should be held to when they actually do show up to the show. I agree.
Okay. That's easily done. You all head into the shop, and for what it's worth, Ganthelrook apparently has no idea about anything that transpired while you guys were gone. He is completely oblivious to everything, whatever transpired at the halls, the protests, the performance, all of that stuff. It's very much a scenario of, oh, you're back already, and, quick and easy. Glad it all worked out for you. Here's your things. Thank you so much for the business. I would be happy to come aboard your ship at some point. Just let me know when is a good time, sort of deal. And so you collect your things and offer the coin and such, and then you head back out. What do you do afterwards, though?
I think maybe collect supplies, like the basic like rations and stuff, and then I kind of want to go collect our thoughts. Let everyone know what kind of the vibes are. See if anyone else wants to go kind of explore. I don't know. Does that sound good?
I feel like we should get Oriana back on
Immediately.
the ship.
Mm-hmm.
This was a lot.
While we're walking back and forth in the city, do we see any constructs that are out?
No.
We don't see any constructs.
No.
Shit. Just feel bad leaving Ting on the boat by themselves.
They're not by themselves.
Well, but they shouldn't be sequestered to the ship. We'll talk about it when we get over there.
For what it's worth, you guys also probably only have a couple of hours of light left before sun's set. Although this being a western coast, you're anticipating that, the sun's setting is going to still leave quite a bit of light in the sky for a bit. You have enough time to be able to return to the airship before darkness falls, but
Let's
not by
do
much.
that then.
Yeah.
Let's go back.
Mayor, was there anything that you wanted to do before we go back?
No, I'm happy to go back to the ship and regroup.
Yeah, that's probably best. Okay.
As you all make your way through the city, start venturing back to the airship, you stop at a couple of places and pick up a few things that are easy to carry, not the full-on arrangement of supplies that you know that your ship needs at this point, but enough to get you through the evening and the next few days at the very least. The kind of minimal things that Nora had asked you to pick up. You do the grocery shop, so to speak. And as you continue to make oh, hey, Varl. Thank you so much, Varl, for all those gifted subs, my friend. You are a gem.
You said the Pee-wee's Playhouse word, Nora. There we go.
And we got a raid from Kai Hawkeye.
Oh, thank you, Kai Hawkeye, for the raid. Glad you could join us. As you all head through the city, you get a lot of attention. Quite a lot. And it seems like every minute that you spend in the city, more and more people are looking at you. And it starts to get very uncomfortable for Oriana. 80, I think in particular, is affected by it the most, as this is one of the rare times that 80 can feel the fear growing inside of Oriana. And by the time you reach the edges of the city and look up towards the ship, which you can see from the edge of the city, you also note that there appear to be a few figures walking ahead of you on that path. Up the hill, up the bluff, heading towards the airship as well. You have drawn a great deal of attention with your arrival. And we'll get to see what kind of attention that is next time as we conclude our adventures tonight. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on this adventure this evening.